everyone, welcome back with me, PT Gamers. And after a couple of videos before I explained it a lot about Ruan Mei and Dr ratio, now I will cover up one last remaining characters on 1.6 updates this month. And yeah, you're right, it's Xueyi. Just for the information, if you following the story since back then, you maybe already noticed this character appearing in the main story back then, but they never let us see how the combat of Xueyi. As additional information, Xueyi is a sister of Hanya who appear in this 1.5 update with Argenti and Silver Wolf banner. The interesting part about her is she is just a 4-star character, but her kit is really interesting, and I think it's really worth to build her if you need a quantum DPS on your team if you still don't have it. And without further ado, let's do this. Okay, before we talk more about this girl, I wanna let you guys know about her basic information first. She is a quantum combat type and she is following the path of destruction. So, like I said before, she will be your main DPS. But don't get wrong with her cover. Although she is just a 4-star character, her kit is like a 5-star one. Especially if you can maximize it to upgrade her, because she is pretty easy to get than a 5-star one. Xueyi will come out in update 1.6 later, along with Ruan Mei and Dr ratio, so if you want to pull these awesome characters, please prepare your wallet to do that. Okay, now we move on to her kit. Actually, all of her kit is pretty simple to understand, so if you're pretty new on this game, maybe Xueyi is your thing. First, her basic attack. As usual, this is just like any other characters, deals minor damage to the single target enemy. And now we move on to her skill. She will do a single target quantum damage equal to 175% of her attack and deals quantum damage equal to 87.5% of her attack to adjacent enemies. Now, if you remember of our physical combat type main characters, her skill is quite like that. You can switch between single target or blast attack according of your situation. This skill is pretty simple to understand, right? Okay, now we move on to her ultimate. Basically, her ultimate will do a high single target damage equal to 300% of her attack. The unique thing about her ultimate is this one will ignore weakness type and depletes the target toughness. So, it doesn't matter what weakness type the enemy is, this ultimate skill will still hit hard like a truck and still depletes the enemy toughness. So, I think it's quite good. Now we move on to the next interesting part about her. It's her talent. Basically, her talent will open up a system called Karma, which like an energy bar that will fill up every time our member deplete a target's toughness with an attack. And when that bar is full, then Xueyi will launch a follow-up attack that will dealing quantum damage 3 times. And each hit will deal 112.5% of her attack, and I think this is pretty insane, right? Imagine if you put her on the same team with characters that will buff a follow-up attack like Topaz, she will be great. As for the technique, I think there's nothing new. She's just attack the enemy and deals 80% of Xueyi attack as quantum damage to all enemies. Nothing new and just like other 4-star characters. Okay, let's move on to her traces. First traces is really nice, obviously. It will let us increase her damage dealt by an amount equal to her break evac. Now it's even more clear to make her build on break evac stats. And for the second traces, it's quite good to increase her damage if the enemy toughness is higher than 50% of their maximum toughness. I know it's not a lot, but hey, this is 4-star characters, so I think this is enough. And for the third traces, I think it's pretty useful when your karma is exceed the maximum number. Then there is one more bar called Sin Stacks that will holding your karma stacks and will immediately refill your karma stacks after you use your follow-up attacks. Okay, now we will talk about her Eidolons. First on Eidolon 1, it will increases her talent's follow-up attacks damage dealt by 40%. It's really nice buff since it's the most easy than any other Eidolons upgrade, and her buff also quite nice. And for the second Eidolons, her follow-up attacks from her talents also depletes an enemy toughness no matter the combat type weakness. It's also quite nice, not the best but it's good I think. And next for Eidolons 4, after she using her ultimate, she will get buff on break evac by 40% for 2 turns. This is also good since her talent will make her damage dealt increasing as her break evac up. So this one will make her damage even higher. And last, for her Eidolon 6, it will make follow-up attacks come out faster since she just needs 6 stacks instead of 8 to do so. It's pretty good of course. Now we move on her team composition. Since she is a DPS, first you must know who is the best team composition to pair with her. First is Topaz. Definitely you can't miss her. Topaz will be the first character that's compatible with Xueyi because a Topaz can give a debuff called Proof of Death that will be increasing the damage it takes from follow-up attacks. Plus, the Nambi will get advanced forward if ally using a follow-up attacks, so definitely Topaz will be really great to pair with Xueyi. The second character that's still compatible with Xueyi is Silver Wolf. Why? Silver Wolf can implant a certain weakness to the enemy, so more of your allies can deplete the enemy toughness. And then, Xueyi will get a karma stacks and make her faster to do a follow-up attacks. So I think Silver Wolf can be paired with her as well. Now, the third characters that would be good with Xueyi is Ruan Mei. I know this character is not even out yet, so if you still have no clue about these characters, just check it out on my channel. Basically, Ruan Mei will improve your team weakness break and prolong the weakness break state by 1 turn. So, since Xueyi can deplete any enemy's toughness no matter what weaknesses is, then Ruan Mei also will be good with Xueyi of course. And then we will come in the last part of this video. We will talk about pros and cons about these characters. First, pros. You can use this character literally everywhere because it will bypass the weaknesses system, so if you are pretty new on this game, maybe you should build her as foundation to clear various content on the game. Next, her follow-up attack damage is pretty insane. Imagine 112.5% per hit 3 times. It's really crazy for being 4-star characters. And for the last thing is, she is 4-star characters, so it will be really easy to maximize her using her Eidolons. Next, we will move on to her cons. First, she needs to be paired with characters that can deplete the enemy toughness, or I might say, the correct combat type as enemy weaknesses. And next, the build may be not as simple as other 4-star characters because she will need many things like follow-up attacks, break evac, crit rate, and critical damage. Okay guys, so that's all about Xueyi who will appear in the next 1.6 beta this month. How was it? Are you guys really interested on building her later? Let me know in the comment section below. So, thank you for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.